Kaieteur Radio, keeping you informed.
Demerara and Essequibo 99.1 FM.
Berbice 99.5 FM. Kaieteur Radio.
Hello, welcome to your news at noon right here on Kaieteur Radio. I'm Kevin Smith. These are the top stories we are tracking. Minister Barrett says government committed to net zero emissions by 2050, but racing ahead with ExxonMobil's carbon bomb projects. Government hauls in delinquent oil companies for violating workers' rights, ordered to abide by Guyana labor laws and constitution. Meanwhile, local content policy being crafted to include diaspora, since Guyana cannot develop with size of current population, says President Ali. Get the details of these and more after the break.
Hey, you! Going out? Want all your favorite radio stations on the go? Listen up and let's go.
Anytime and anywhere. All your favorite radio stations are in one place. Listen wherever you go, anywhere, anytime. You can even listen without Wi-Fi with Go Loud on a Digicel Prime bundle. Talk, music, news, whatever you want. On the go, Go Loud. Go Loud gives you all your local radio in the palm of your hand. Go out in style. On the go, Go Loud. Download today.
And now for the news in detail. In his address to the United Nations General Assembly, Minister of Natural Resources Vikram Bharat reiterated the government's commitment to net zero emissions by 2050. This ambitious but necessary goal was pledged by world leaders including Guyana as part of the 2015 Paris Agreement. But even as the Natural Resources Minister, and by extension the government, touts their fidelity to net zero emissions, the administration continues to give its blessings to ExxonMobil and its consortium of oil companies to steam ahead with carbon bomb projects. In the offshore concession that keeps on giving, the Stabroek Block, Exxon has been flaring gas above pilot levels on board the Liza Destiny operations for some 20 months. In this period, and according to figures supplied by the EPA, it is estimated that Exxon has already flared some 14 billion standard cubic feet of natural gas. In simpler terms, the amount of gas flared by Exxon is equivalent to the removal of over 1.6 million acres of forest, identical to the size of Region 2 and a small fraction of Region 3. Liza 2 and Payara, Exxon's second and third development projects that are already in the pipeline, will also be carbon bombs in Guyana. In other news, Minister of Labour Joseph Hamilton recently hauled in oil companies and ordered in no uncertain terms that they abide by the Guyana Constitution and the country's labour laws. This course of action by the administration comes on the heels of formal complaints lodged by GAU Oil and Gas Branch, which had complained to the minister in September last that firms operating in the sector through varying measures were seeking to dissuade their workers from becoming unionized. The union, as such, contends that the denial of workers' freedom of association was a blatant violation of Guyanese's constitutional right to belong to trade unions. We understand that the Ministry of Labour recently informed GAU that the delinquent companies will remove the offensive elements from its paraphernalia. And moving on, President Irfan Ali, along with Vice President Bharat Jagdeo, yesterday took time out of their participation in the 76th United Nations General Assembly underway in New York to host a press engagement in the Hilton International Hotel. At the event, President Ali disclosed that his delegation used yesterday to focus on interactions, particularly in the diaspora, and espoused that Guyana as a country cannot be developed with the relatively small size of its population. As such, he indicated that the administration is crafting its proposed local content policy, is including measures to ensure that the members of the Guyanese diaspora are included in Guyana's overall development as an oil and gas producer. And moving on, a single mother and her 5 children are now homeless after a fire completely destroyed their one-bedroom concrete home they lived in at Blueberry Hill, Wismar Linden. The mother, Orlean Holder, was not at home at the time, but her 5 children, the oldest being aged 10, were in the house when the incident occurred around 11:45 on Thursday. During that time, Holder said she left the home to render some assistance to the teachers at a nearby school, since they were moving into another building. We understand that the neighbors saw smoke emanating from the house and heard the children screaming. According to the police, she hurried to the children's aid and removed them before the entire house went up in flames. And moving on, a knife-wielding bandit dressed in a white jersey and a pair of blue shorts was caught on camera yesterday wrestling a 38-year-old cop to the ground and robbing him of his haversack, which contained his cell phone valued at $12,000 and his police uniform in front of Munishwars on Water Street, Georgetown. The robbery took place around 6 hours 45 while the policeman was walking towards the bus park. The bandit, armed with a large knife, was seen running behind the man and grabbing his haversack. He cornered the cop close to one of the stalls located in front of Munishwars, but was met with resistance from the lawman. In other news, a 26-year-old GDF corporal was arrested on Thursday for allegedly beating his 23-year-old girlfriend with a rolling pin. It is understood that the couple got into an argument around 21 hours 31 on Wednesday at the corporal's home, located at Tushen on the east bank of Essequibo. During the argument, the rank began to beat the woman, cuffing and kicking her several times about her body. The woman reportedly tried to defend herself with a rolling pin, but the corporal relieved her of it. He then used the rolling pin to further assault the woman by lashing her to her forehead. That same evening, before heading to the hospital, his girlfriend headed to the Lenore police station, where she lodged a report. Police arrested him the following day, Thursday, and placed him under close arrest. Meanwhile, father of two, Alistair Prasad, who was arrested for the alleged killing of Sigmal Gavaya at the Vredenhoop Stelling last Saturday, was yesterday remanded to prison after he was charged for the man's death. Prasad, a fisherman of the Willem, West Coast of Demerara, yesterday made his first court appearance at the Vredenhoop Magistrates Court before Magistrate Faith McGusty, where the capital charge of murder was read to him. The 25-year-old accused was not required to plead to the charge, which states that on September 18th last at the Vredenhoop Stelling, Region 3, he murdered 26-year-old Gavaya, formerly of Block A, Sophia, Georgetown. Magistrate McGusty, after remanding Prasad, adjourned the matter to October 12th, 2021 for report. And now let's tell you, Minister of Public Health Dr. Frank Anthony on Monday night revealed that it costs the state more than $5,000 to treat each COVID-19 patient who is hospitalized. He explained that one reason the cost to treat a patient would go up is due to getting oxygen to the patients. He further stated that the government had installed a huge tank at the Ocean View Hospital, which is being filled with oxygen every 24 hours. However, he stated that refilling the tanks with oxygen could change depending on the patient load for that day. The minister noted that the aforementioned also occurs at regional hospitals. At the time of this revelation, the minister stated that apart from the large number of patients at the Ocean View COVID-19 hospital, 12 patients are at the West Demerara Regional Hospital, 12 in Maikoni, 5 in New Amsterdam, 3 in Wismar, and 2 each in Skelden, Bartica, and Madia. Meanwhile, yesterday, the Ministry of Health reported that 5 more persons who tested positive for the virus have died. As a result of this, the country's COVID-19 death toll has moved to 749. The ministry reported that the latest fatalities are that of 5 unvaccinated persons. Meanwhile, 252 new infections were recorded, bringing the total number of confirmed cases to 30,696. Presently, there are 33 patients who are patients in the ICU, 183 in institutional isolation, 3,592 in home isolation, and 4 in institutional quarantine. To date, a total of 26,139 persons who tested positive for the virus have recovered. The time has now moved on to 12 hours 35. Time for page 7 of the Kaieteur News dedicated to being blunt. There are many issues in society that compete for the attention of a government. However, what must be foremost in the mind of any solid government are the sources of revenue and its debt level. These are important since, much like a business, they help to guide the decisions that are made in order to ensure that the nation thrives. With the colossal debt being racked up in anticipation of increased oil production, it is high time that the leaders of this nation pay close attention to their financial decisions so that Guyana is not left in an eternal debt trap. With that, we've come to the end of today's News at Noon. Kevin Smith here. Thank you for listening.
Want value for your advertising dollar? Then place your ads on Kaieteur Radio's Newscasts. Streamed live on 6 different mediums, reaching hundreds of thousands. Advertise today and watch your dollar grow. Call us on 225-8465 or 226-8210 today.
I am Glenn Lal, and I have some beautiful things to share with you guys